Hi everyone, I'm Chris Martenson of Peak Prosperity here with your weekly update. It is Friday, April 14th, 2017, the day before tax day here in the United States. And wow, what a week it's been. Here we are on Easter weekend going into this, and boy, the world is anything but about good cheer and peace and love. We have the United States saber-rattling against North Korea, saying that something has to be done finally. It's going to be a military engagement. If I live in South Korea, I'm pretty much freaking out at this point in time because Seoul, South Korea is basically within artillery range of the North. Who knows how that crazy despotic nation is going to respond if attacked, but my guess is probably not well. So we'll see how that turns out. Meanwhile, the United States dropped what's colloquially termed the mother of all bombs. That's a massive ordnance airburst, the largest non-nuclear bomb in our arsenal, dropped it in Afghanistan, allegedly killing 36 ISIS members. I say allegedly because getting accurate reports out of the field pretty hard in these situations. But taking that at face value, it means it was only $8.8 million per kill, if you like to score things that way. And meanwhile, things in Syria are still very, very uncertain. And by the way, this whole week has been an astonishing display in propaganda in the United States, because here's the story. The story is that Assad, Bashar al-Assad, the president or leader of Syria, after hearing the week before that the United States was content to let him remain in power, after gaining massive military advantage over the various forces, the mercenary forces and internal forces that are fighting him in the Syrian civil war, after getting all of that basically secured, being on the winning end, decided to drop sarin gas on civilians in a non-militarily important part of the country. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? Actually, when you dig it all past the silly headlines that the United States media has just gleefully run with, you discover there are a lot of holes in the story that it was Assad that had done it, or at least you should have significant concerns to say that this is anything but a slam dunk case. Let's just start with the photos, right? This is easy. This doesn't take, some CSI level investigatory, amazing scientific understanding. Sarin gas, which was the alleged use stuff. First, the whole world internationally disarmed Bashar al-Assad of sarin gas after the first attack, which was, by the way, linked not to Syrian gas stockpiles, but to stockpiles that came from a different country. So that was clearly a false flag attack that happened back in 2013. Wasn't Syria. It was tried to get pinned on Syria. Obama, thankfully, was smart enough to understand that case was not the slam dunk, that the U.S. intelligence apparatus, at least one part of it, attempted to make a slam dunk case. It wasn't that clear. And of course, no red line got crossed in that moment because it wasn't Syria, the government of Syria. But still, Syria did have sarin gas in its stockpiles. All of that was removed under international observation. It was all accounted for. But allegedly now, they preserved a little and dropped it. Now, here's why this story doesn't make sense. Sarin gas is among the most deadly known, the tiniest amount on the surface of your skin, and you're dead. You look at the pictures that were put forward in the videos, you saw alleged rescuers coming into this area and wearing Home Depot grade dust masks and painter's masks, no gloves, no other protection, hosing off people, and doing other rescue operations. Guaranteed they weren't in the presence of sarin gas. This is just ridiculously easy to conclude. But still, good enough for us. 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles later, launched into a sovereign nation without any legal backing for that particular action. And we have the United States basically acting as much a warmonger under Trump as we saw under Obama, as we saw under Bush, as we would have seen under Hillary, I bet. Bottom line, United States is just out being very, very belligerent in the world. Now, bad timing for all of this because the world economy is very rocky. We have badly, wildly inflated asset bubbles that nobody believes in anymore. I have the opportunity to present at a lot of high net worth wealth conferences. The level of concern out there is reflected in that New Yorker article about executives from Silicon Valley building, bug out shelters and readouts and other escape hatches for themselves. is also contained in people who are starting at the high end of the wealth curve, really beginning to remove their assets from a system they increasingly see as very unstable. So what's less stable producing than potentially getting militarily entangled with Russia or North Korea, or you name it? I can't think of it. So that's where we particularly are, and we have a new two-part report that's just come out on the site this week, written by Charles Hughes Smith, and the title is, it's asking you if you have a plan B. Do you have a second place to go if your first place doesn't work out? It's really building on the idea that a lot of people are beginning to prepare for a very uncertain future, and many of those preparations take the form of physical preparations, having a place to go, knowing where your food and water is going to come from, making sure that you can attend to your basic needs and those of your family and loved ones. Increasingly, that's a response, and I get it. That response is really born from a deep fear and uncertainty. And so what we do at Peak Prosperity is we help you understand the context for what's happening. And one of the more important contexts you can get is this: you just can't believe what you read in the newspapers, particularly when it comes to geopolitical information, particularly around foreign policy. That stuff is about as garbagey and junky with false information as any other place I look at. You know, I personally have not trusted the New York Times since the aluminum tubes fiasco, all the way back in 2008, I believe that came through. So when we look at these things, you know, you can trust the New York Times for, I don't know, environmental reporting, sports reporting, lifestyle reporting, but not geopolitical reporting. They've proven to be a pass-through for policy that comes out of DC, which is just consistently belligerent across the world. Hey, listen, I guess, you know, make the case that somebody has to be the world's policeman, however you frame it. But one thing you can't make the case for is that this is helping increase global stability. Everything the United States has done has led to one failed state after another. Not very stable situation. So you put all that together and you look at where we are in this story, I think to begin preparing for some sort of a financial accident is a very prudent thing to do. And of course, I've made my own preparations around that, and you should as well. So if you come by Peak Prosperity, the knowing is one big part of what we do, but the doing is the more important. I don't care if it doesn't, I'm not here to give you information that just makes you nervous or concerned. That would be counterproductive. It's only useful if you're going to do something with that information. So make sure you come by and figure out what you're going to do, or figure out how you're going to respond. But not responding is not an option at this point in time, because people, it is time. If you don't understand that at this point, good luck, but it is time. So with that, I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening. Good luck.